One of the things I didn't like was tying in the supernatural elements
Thank you.
because I didn't think it was necessary. Because
Me either.
what I liked about the show from Jump was how they used the racism and what was real and what was really going on, and they just added elements like just like mood music and tension and and just like things like that and to make you more uncomfortable than the stuff that would just make you uncomfortable to begin with. So it would just double down on the uncomfortability with the atmosphere and the music and the stuff like that. But I started to realize what was going on with the supernatural elements and stuff. Like it was like you know how you said like you question whether or not she's crazy or whatever if it's in her head. But I think this was a lot like and this is I'm not I know it's going to sound like a reach, but it was the Wizard of Oz. All right, because you have
That's a good
each one
comparison.
because each one of these characters, like the supernatural elements that they were facing were like their own personal demons.
Mm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
so she was dealing with the concept of going crazy over all this shit. Like she was losing herself in her mind, right? Like and that was the road that she was being brought down with that supernatural element for her. Uh Ruby Lee was like she was just like she was dealing with freaking like wanting to be somebody else and not be black and be persecuted and
Yeah, she just wanted to
how
be accepted for who
yeah
she was.
how
And,
do I fit in this
right.
school, right? Like, and so she had her own personal demon that gave her basically gave her what she wanted because she had like this friend or whatever that was actually not really real, and then Gracie, she didn't have any problems. Gracie didn't have any problems, but she had her demon was literally watching everybody else fall apart. And how do I deal with that, right? And then his personal demon was the just how do I stand by and let all this shit happen? That was the blackface guy. You know what I mean? How do I stand by and let all this shit happen? I feel like a complete sellout. I feel like I'm not doing what I need to do for my family and my people, right? And I'm just letting this stuff go on. And which is why when you were talking about how he let that shit happen to his wife, I think that was his breaking point, where that's where this like blackface demon starts showing up, like hey,
Yeah, what you gonna do?
yeah, right.
I think it was
um
weird to me too. But Miss Vera. I thought the odd thing about that was like, Luck goes into the closet, realm, whatever, and she confronts Miss Vera, and she's getting like choked out by her.
right.
But that was like, why didn't the little girl rip up the page like a long time ago? Like she waited until that moment. Like I was
Well,
like,
probably
she could
probably
have done that
because
all along.
but probably because she didn't really realize what was going on with Miss Vera, right? Like she didn't realize it until much later, and then
Yeah, yeah.
like
I think.
Miss Vera already kind of had her hooks in her, like
Mm,
like that was her like imaginary friend slash teacher that was, you know, made like sometimes she felt uncomfortable about her, but she also probably feels uncomfortable about a lot of adults, like telling her what to do and like when she doesn't want to do things that she's being told. So I mean, I don't know. I just got this feeling that Gracie was like the glue for the family. You know what I mean? She was the one that didn't really. She wasn't as affected by everything as everybody else was because she was so young and innocent. You know what I mean? Her innocence really saved everybody. But then at the end, like that whole thing at the end, like I think we got to see the triumph of this family, right? Like because like yeah, they went through a lot and those people were still there and they weren't going anywhere and maybe they made it worse with all the weird shit that was going on outside with the fire and all that. But at the end of the day, the shit that was tearing them apart, like how that racism was really like digging its claws into that family and just ripping it to shreds, like they beat that shit and they came together as a family instead of being destroyed. You know what I mean? Because that's what happens to other families. Most families that confront that, they're ripped apart and they're destroyed. And that's illustrated in the show by the families that she visited to try and find out what's going on in Compton and East Compton, right? Like
Oh my
when she
God, yeah.
you know what I mean?
You know,
So it's like she's seeing that, and to see them all come together at the end was the opposite of what happens to the other families. So like we got to see that triumph and that happy ending in a way, but it was still like an uncomfortable, like, you know, goodbye to that group of people.
I think the one of the other disturbing things is like you get to see like what Betty's home life was, where she was just getting molested by her father, like, which was like, oh my God, that's why she's messed up. One,
yeah,
but then it was also like, there was, I really liked what they did, where, you know, they're basically pointing fingers at this black family, like, where's Betty? But it's like the real villain was a white person living among them that they just completely didn't realize, you know. So it's like you're basically saying the black family is at fault, but it's actually one of you guys killed the, you know. I was like, okay, well that's, and it's funny because as she's running away, I'm like, oh dude, she's gonna get taken out, and you see her get taken out, and I said to Beck, I was like, oh, I knew that was coming. Like, he's not gonna let her get away.
Yeah, he was like. He was like, "Yeah, go ahead." Then pop.
Yeah, well, he was like, if you come into the house, like, you know, that was the only way out if she decided to stay there. But when she took off, I'm like, you ain't gonna leave. He's not gonna. This guy was in the war. Basically said he was like he was a sharpshooter. I'm like, come on.
I knew that he was like, you know, weird, and I knew that he had designs on being with her, but I didn't know that he was that weird.
Yeah, I thought he just wanted to like.
Happen.
I thought he just wanted to like hook up with her. Like,
yeah,
that's what I thought. You know,
or I
come
thought,
to my farm.
Or I actually believed that he wanted to take her away from her husband.
Yeah, I thought so.
Right,
yeah.
And like, you know, like just like legitimately like try to start a life with her and like do the right thing for her, but then all of a sudden he's roofing this chick, and I'm just like, oh shit, what the fuck?
Yeah, but then again, that's what
now?
they wanted you to think. They wanted us to think that, you know. So.
Yeah, but they did a great job making us think the things that. And, dude, you know what was a cool scene when she was in the hardware store,
and
like she was looking at the axe, and like the
fucking
white guy
comes over,
the guy from behind the counter, he's like, "Hey, I wonder what it'd be like if you just like fucking took that axe and just." Yeah. He was like, "Huh? Don't you think?"
Yeah. What happens if you hit him in the brain?
Yeah,
I was like,
yeah, whatever. It's been, I think what was like a month or two ago that I saw it. I forget the exact lines, but dude, that was like, it was so great. And then like when she looks up and he's like back behind the counter, I was like, oh shit, that was just weird. It was freaky.
Yeah. Because it's a white guy saying to take out like another white guy and on top of what they were going. Yeah, that was cool. But I don't know. And I loved where she just went up and like slapped Betty. I was like, oh, finally, like somebody hit this bitch. So
the cop.
But, yeah, the cop was okay. He had some good moments. I don't think that Emery, or I forgot his name, was a justified kill. I think he just literally like lost his shit for a second and shot him. But I do think him like beating the shit. I was like, oh dude, just fucking murder this dude on the street. Like, I was like, that's, you know what I mean? Like, because he never really killed anybody, or like he killed somebody, but nobody knew he killed the cop.
Right.
But it's like if he killed this guy on the street, like he would have got taken to prison. So by not doing that, he kind of saved himself, I think, a little bit. But
dude,
anyway.
the blackface ghost. I think they just call him Blackface, but Blackface was, I think he was my favorite like element of the show.
See, that wasn't not the same for me. It annoyed me, dude.
I thought the actor was fucking amazing, and I thought what they did with his teeth, like, I mean, I think what they just gave him like these giant fucking like, I don't.
I know. I think that was him, but I think that they accentuated it with the makeup, and like he constantly had this huge smile on his face, which made it.
Was that really his own teeth?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I really do.
Dude, that's fun. He's got a very like dope feature set for like, you know, this type of show, because like it was like so creepy and so, but he looked so like like clean. You know what I mean? Like you
Do
don't
you
see.
do you like the fact that they actually had a black guy playing a blackface character? Because then at the end,
Well, yeah, because you understand what it symbolizes. What
well,
I
I
was
know what
saying
it
before.
symbolized, but I would have understood anyway.
His
Like
whole
because then they, but
his
then they
whole
wiped
thing.
the paint off at the end. It was a white guy, and I'm like, okay, I
Right.
get that, but like, why did like?
But
I don't know.
the whole thing with him was to illustrate or to bring to the front of mind that he was being a sellout, that he was not, that he was just playing along with the,
Yeah.
what the white people wanted him to do, and that's
Mm.
the only way that he's going to survive. He's going to do what he's told, and blah blah. And he just keeps making him sound. He just keeps making him feel like a fucking piece of shit for like not
Yeah.
sticking up for his family and not sticking up for himself and not sticking up for his people. And they keep digging and digging, and I thought the symbolism was perfect for that shit. It just that's what you think of when you think of somebody who said
Yeah.
like they're just tap dancing and entertaining and doing like, and it just, to me, it fit. And I thought that's why I like that character, and the way that actor pulled it off. I don't know, that
Yeah.
was dope.
I do like when he ended up shooting him at the end, kind of like killing that like part of himself that was
Yes.
dragging himself down. Like I really
Yep.
like that. That was his way to kind of like put that to bed. So I thought that was cool. I mean, it's a dope show, man, but it's hard to get through. It's a lot of
Yeah,
scenes.
and it's crazy, right? Like, because people know that racism is a thing, right? People know that it existed, and people know that it was worse before. But history teachers and history books and shows and documentaries, they show us this stuff, but they don't show you like really how bad it was. So like when you see stuff like this, like, and like I said, like they did like go overboard on some things, but when I can sit there and I'm watching this like cat in a bag scene, and I'm wondering like, did they do shit like this, right? Like,
Mm.
why am I even thinking, did they actually do shit like this, right? Like, because it, you know what I mean? It's like, but I'm thinking that, and I'm looking it up, and I didn't find anything that says that they didn't, and I didn't find anything that says that they did. But the fact that I couldn't find anything even makes me think harder. Like, is this some shit that like actually happened? Like, even if it wasn't exactly that, I'm sure there were things that were done to people that were like similar. You know what I mean? Like similar in scope, when you think of the scope of how like grotesque it is, right?
Yeah, I mean that was probably definitely one of the harder scenes to watch. I mean, I think I said to my wife, I was like, what's scary is like that probably could have happened back then, because that's how bad it was. That's how racist people are,
But then stuff like, like just like camping out in front of somebody's house and like blaring music and, just being fucking annoying to the point where you try to make people want to leave. Like, that shit really happened. Like that I know really happened, because like it's documented, right? Like you can find.
Well, there's the other thing that really happened was the interest rates that they were
Yes.
charging. Like that's a real thing too, So that's crazy. It's nuts. I think.
Yeah, I just think the show did a great job of taking real shit and presenting it in such a way that it feels like fantasy, but then it's because it's real, it like just feels like real dirty to watch it, and it's like it crawls under your skin, and it's like I haven't had an experience like that in horror since Alien, because Alien was the first one to really like crawl under my skin and make me feel a certain way, and because I was so young, it just like it turned that shit off in my brain, where like when I watch something, it's like just entertainment now. Like I can watch all kinds of shit. Like I could watch House of a Thousand Corpses like over and over again and just be like, that was a cool movie. I like what they did with the makeup, and like none of it really like affects me or like gets in my head or anything. I'm not like, oh man, that was like disturbing. But this shit, because of like I said, because of the ties to like because that shit happens. Like House of a Thousand Corpses, I can turn that off because I'm like, that shit it's a fucking movie. Like somebody
I don't
wrote
know,
this
House
shit,
of a Thousand
blah, blah.
Corpses and what is it, like The Devil's Rejects? Those movies
Yeah.
fucking disturbed me. Like
Right,
there was
like-
a point where it was just kept going down a rabbit hole, and I'm like, oh my god, this is fucking.
Yeah, but
I
you
mean,
probably
this-
didn't see Alien when you were 9 either. So
No,
you know?
but I'll tell you though. Originally, when I said I didn't want to watch this show because it wasn't the right time, I am glad I waited. So I was like, man, that I was right. It was not the right show for that time.
Well, I'm glad you waited, but I'm also glad you watched it because being able to talk to you about it is something that I really was hoping to do, and I feel like I got that, and I'm happy, and I hope everybody out there listening is happy too. So
Yeah, man.
Thank you.
Thank
you for checking it out, and I hope you're a fan now. I hope like you'll check out like the next like season when it pops out.
Oh yeah, I mean, it's an anthology series, so I definitely want to check out the next
They're
one.
gonna-
See where that goes.
They're gonna do it just like American Horror Story, where like a lot of the same actors come back too.
Yeah, I mean that would make sense. I mean, they're just gonna play different characters, so
like Gracie's like, I'm a fan of Gracie right now. I can't remember the girl's name that plays her, but like I am a fan. You know, I really liked how she like, you know, played that character in the show, and
for somebody so young too. I mean,
yeah, to be able to do something with so much weight, you know what I mean?
That's what I mean.
It was
yeah,
like
she had a very mature mind to be able to play that the way she did for such a sensitive, deep topic. I mean, she did it well.
Yeah, when she started singing that song and like, you know, marching, it was
oh my
like,
god, geez, so
that was
disturbing, dude. It's
I was like, oh my god, what is she doing? Stop that!
Yeah.
Stop!
It's so weird, dude. Yeah, that's why I was like, what is going on? So,
And then she was like, stop it! Yeah, yo, check it out, watch it. Like you've heard, like I mean, I'm sorry because we dropped a lot of spoilers if you haven't watched it. One more thing on this, actually, because I have to say it now that you've seen it. What if I told you that there were like 1 million articles out there that said this show is like a fucking ripoff of Us?
no, I mean, I don't think so.
Like, do you
I mean,
think
it's
that?
not.
Do you
I think. I think.
do you
It's
think it
because
was
they were-
anything like Us?
No. Well, I mean, no, it wasn't because Us is
Right.
completely different. I mean,
Yes.
I think it was it's confusion because there was like Get Out, and then Jordan Peele did Us, and then this was Them, and people like, oh, it's the same thing because Us and Them, but it's not. It's just a very similar title, but they're by far so different.
Like,
So,
it's a completely different show.
not
Like,
even related in the slightest.
not
yeah.
even the same time period.
No, not at all.
Like it's I could see if like Jordan Peele did the movie Us, and it was like set in 1953, and there were some like elements from the show. I could see that, but Us was set in like modern day. You know, like it was like
it's not at all related. Yeah, no.
it was just so weird. But yeah, anyway, I just wanted to get that off my chest because that really bothers me.
Yeah,
But yeah,
people not paying attention.
right. And that's the thing.
So-
That's a thing that bothers me. I like people to pay attention. But yeah, that's it, brother. I got nothing else for this.
All right, man.
All right.